Thank you, Tony. It's your pal, the Pitchfreak, Antonio White. I'm so happy to see you all here. But before I get started here, I'm going to have to ask your indulgence here. I need to do a little bit of preparation here. So if you wouldn't mind here, just need a little bit of preparation here. Okay. I'm going to get this thing on here. Okay. Just okay, excuse me one moment.
I think it's getting hot in here, folks.
Okay. Okay, guys, I want to show you something really special. I want you to see this pie. This is not just any pie. This is a $70 billion pie. Billion with a B. With a B. Okay, this pie represents all of the investment coming your way in 2022 through angel investment and venture capital investment through pitch competitions in the USA alone. Does this look like a delicious pie or what? It's not filled with apples or cherries or peach. It's filled with money, baby. Woo! But it's hot. It's hot. I'm gonna have to put it right over here. Okay. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a pie. That's a pie. Okay. So, how many people want a slice of that pie? Okay. Whew. Oh, it smells delicious, by the way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I almost just want to just get right to the eating the pie. But I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to share with you something that I discovered haphazardly, by accident, in 2021 that has changed my whole perspective on fundraising for startups. Over the course of 2021, I probably spent conservatively 600 hours on Clubhouse listening to pitches. People from startups trying to use pitch competitions to pitches on Clubhouse to get fundraising for their startups. And there's a couple things that I noticed. Number one, that unless you meet basic criteria, here's the criteria that you need to meet in order to get funding from a venture capital organization or an angel, typical angel. You have to have something called product market fit. Product market fit. You also have to have something called product product founder fit. Product founder fit. John McKnight, just let me finish. Product founder fit. Product founder fit. Product market fit, and you need something called the ability to make money, a business model that makes sense with a TAM. TAM is referred to as total addressable market. Total addressable market. And there's also something called SAM, serviceable addressable market as well, but TAM is your total opportunity for all the people who might buy your product. And if you're in venture capital, if you're trying to raise money in the Valley or any kind of organization like that, you need to have an idea that is very highly scalable, that can grow quickly, especially if you're trying to raise money in Silicon Valley or through most angel investors. They want to see fast scaling companies. These are companies with $100+ million a year revenue opportunities here with $1 billion+ valuations. We call those unicorns in the Valley. So, and it's not just the Valley, it's anywhere where technology investment is being done. These are called unicorns. So what's a unicorn? Think of a unicorn like Uber or Airbnb, so on. By the way, these organizations like Uber and Airbnb go through, how do they start off? They start off with simple funding and simple websites and simple concepts. And both of those companies, by the way, went through an accelerator program or an incubator program called Y Combinator, which is used to be on the East Coast, and it's been here for many years now in California. It is a place where technology companies go to build teams, to build products, to build marketing models or business models, and get in contact with investors and to be able to launch these businesses. Why am I telling you all this? Because after listening to well over nearly 600 hours of people making pitches, there's a few things that I realized. Number one, pitching is not something that we're trained to do in school. It's something that we're not trained to do, and only recently within, I'd say probably within the last 3 years to 5 years, is pitching becoming something that's more pervasive in school, specifically in universities and colleges. It's certainly not something that's told taught in high school for the vast majority, or elementary school, even though if you're doing a bake sale to raise money here, having a pitch might be a good idea. Bake sale. All right, so the key with this is, because pitching is not taught, it is something that you have to find education for outside of wherever it is you happen to be. And where do you find that education? Challenge here is that you go to shows like Shark Tank, or you watch shows like The Profit, or so on, and you have an idea of how pitches is done on TV. And those are not how pitches are done in the real world. In the real world, pitches are much more relaxed, they're much more focused, they're much more specific. There's a language, there's a cadence, there's a whole thing. The key concept when you're making a pitch is credibility and relatability. When you're making a pitch, regardless of the words that come out of your mouth, as long as they make you relatable and credible, you've got a shot at getting somebody's interest and engagement, right? Now, the only way you're going to get the shot of an angel investor or a venture capital group is to have an opportunity. And opportunity is the number one word that you want to be using when you're talking about getting money from an investor. Investors do not care about your touchy-feely projects. They don't care about changing the world. They don't care about your social impact. Even if they say that they do, I'm telling you the behind-the-scenes truth. They do not care. If your social impact product does not make money, forget it. Except in one scenario. There is one scenario in which your social impact project is not only interesting and engaging here, but encouraged. And that is through pitch competitions. There are estimated to be over 10,000 pitch competitions around the world every year. And I developed a list around this. I'll tell you a little bit about this at the end. But these pitch competitions are, how does venture capital and angel investors work? They have networks of people. Networks of angel capital investors. So that $70 billion are all the funds from angel capital and angel investors, these are accredited investors, and venture capital groups, $70 billion. What happens if you don't know a venture capitalist or an angel investor? How will you get access to deals? The answer is you don't get access to deals. The only way you get access to deals is when a company goes public, right? Unless you know somebody. And so what happens here is, even if you have product founder fit, even if you have a product market match for product market fit, right? Even if you have a great TAM, if you don't know somebody who can vouch for you in Silicon Valley or in the investment community here, you're going to have a terrible time at it, because there's too many opportunities that these investors have to simply entertain on a regular basis. The average savvy investor is getting somewhere in the neighborhood between 50 and 100 pitches a week. And if for the top tier groups, they're getting that on a daily basis. So there are literally thousands of pitches that they have to review on a regular basis here. And the idea is that they want to leverage their network. Think about product founder fit, if you will, like a big time Hollywood star, some star like The Rock, where you know that if The Rock is associated with your movie's going to do great. That's product founder fit. What that means is that if you're a startup creating a new startup and you are already a founder that has had a successful exit in the past, so you've had a successful company and maybe you sold that, or maybe a successful operation right now and it's doing very well. Here is your next venture. People who've seen the success in your previous venture here now associate that with your next venture, even though there's no guarantee about that here, but it gets you the door open. So my last movie, if I'm a movie star, my last movie grossed a whole big bunch of money. I'm ready to do another movie, so it's likely that I'm going to get a lot of offers for me to be in somebody else's movie as a result of that. That's product founder fit. Okay, so it means that you've had previous experience and previous success. Well, what if you've never had previous success before? What are you going to do then? Now, the next part here is, well, have you been on a team with success in the past? Well, the answer for that is, if you haven't been on a team, then what do? Well, these pitch competitions are an incredible resource for you, because many of these pitch competitions, they do a couple things. They serve a need for folks who do not have direct access to the investment networks around them. And instead, they offer opportunities for organizations of people of any age, people of all industries and all skill sets. So in particular, For university pitches, and by the way, every major university has a pitch competition of one sort or another, or maybe even multiple pitch competitions. Think about this idea. If you have a program, if you've never built a product before, if you've never run a business before, and you have no contacts, a pitch competition is your chance to be able to share your ideas with the world to whatever degree you have fleshed them out. These pitch competitions range from simple business plan competitions, where you just write up the plan and you send it in and people review it and then they get back to you with a prize or an award of some sort. Or you can actually make a formal presentation in front of a group of investors or an audience as well. The nice part about pitch competitions is it gives the general public access in many cases to deal flow, which is the number one objective for every investor, is to get access to great deals. So how do you get access to deal flow? Is by participating in a pitch competition in your industry or in your area. That's how you invite people to come pitch their ideas for cash prizes or for advisory opportunities or for deal flow in particular, right? See, and I'll give you some examples of that. These universities offer opportunities for their students to pitch for any number of things, from technology to products to services. They do not have to be technology-based companies or technology. And by the way, they don't have to even be billion-dollar opportunities. They can simply be meaningful growth opportunities for small businesses and these universities, these church groups, universities, Chamber of Commerce, federal government. They also have organizations for nonprofit organizations. They have groups that are focused on particular classifications of skill sets. So for designers or for artists or for musicians or for writers, if you happen to be part of a certain ethnic group, there are ethnic focused pitch organizations to help you with Italians or Blacks or Puerto Ricans or what have you. There's all kinds of Irish, lots of folks that are trying to help their own community build a group of entrepreneurs to help the future generation, people paying it forward. If you have a social impact project, your best chance to get funding is through one of these pitch competitions. Many of them are free to enter. They're tough to enter in some cases here, but many of them are free. Some of them have a paid fee to be entered. You have to apply. Many of these, the biggest programs have requirements of many months in advance of applying, because they have thousands of applications that they have to sort through in order to determine who actually gets the opportunity to pitch. So think about this for a second. If there are 10,000 or 10 to 11,000 pitch competitions here, and you just have 3 people per pitch competition, that's 33,000 people here who are competing, right? But that's not it. Imagine 100 people per pitch competition applying. And by the way, it's way more than 100 people applying for most of these competitions. So you can imagine, so nearly 1,100,000 million people competing potentially in these pitch competitions, around the US in particular. That's a lot of competition. Not everybody gets access. Most of these pitch competitions end with 3 potential winners. In some cases, it's a little bit more. The largest pitch competition in the U.S. that claims to be the largest pitch competition in the U.S. is Rice University from Texas. And they offer $1 million plus prize for their pitch competition, which is a week-long program. And so their pitch competition lasts a week, where the actual founders who make their presentations have to go through a series of discussions with investors and advisors and business professionals and the staff. And through that, at the end, they are awarded prizes. But in many cases, after listening to 600 plus hours on Clubhouse, I realized that the vast majority of people who are making pitches, you would think that they'd be asking for money. In actuality, the vast majority, I'm talking 80% plus, don't even care about money. They just want to get access to people who know what they're doing. They're really looking for mentorship. They're looking for advice, advisory support, people that can point them in the right direction. So if you are in an industry where you're a savvy operator within that space, you can provide a great support, a great offering to potential investors in your space. For instance, the real estate market is a great area where lots of technologies are being applied here. So if you're a member of a real estate organization and you want to see what's happening in the area of real estate and technology, your group can offer a prize and run your own pitch competition. And through there, you are able to access people in your space here who can share with you their thinking about what the future of the real estate technology market is going to be, or environmental applications, or vehicle technology development, or any number of things. Social impact as far as helping organizations or underrepresented groups. So I just trained, I had a group that I work with called Black Girl Ventures. And Black Girl Ventures is a group supporting specifically Black women to help them, and Black men actually, help them understand entrepreneurship and help them with their pitches and help them get in contact with investors so that they can grow businesses. And so what I discovered, and they have partnerships with Nike, they have partnerships with other large corporate donors as well. And so I took a presentation that was being given to me from 3 or 4 people making pitches for larger competitions, and I was a coach for them. One of the ladies who was presenting for me was Tamika Strange. And Tamika had a very interesting product. She's a nurse. She's invented this new type of clothing apparatus that helps people dealing with their stay at the hospital. She went through her pitch, and during the course of her pitch, she explained as a nurse the difficulties that she has with the nurse and the patient and all these various difficult things that happen with the product that are a bit too much for our morning discussion. So I'll leave it to the side. I'll just say that there's a lot of dignity involved in being a patient in a hospital after a procedure here that exposes you to very personal issues being presented to folks, and there's a lot of modesty issues tied to that. She's created a product that helps people with modesty while they're in the operating room. And at least that's how she explained it. And after listening to her presentation, I was very quiet, and I thought to myself for a moment, well, how can I be of the best service to this lady? And I thought, tell her the truth. The truth is that the pitch that she gave me was not going to get anybody's attention. As interesting as it was as a product, she was presenting it from her perspective as a nurse. That's really important. If you've created a product and you're focusing it on your perspective as the inventor or the business owner, you're making a terrible mistake when you're pitching for money. The perspective that you should be taking when you're making your presentation is from the perspective of the investor. You need to be making your presentations from an investor mindset. And so I walked Tamika through the process of how to think like an investor. An investor cares about one thing: how to make money. Who is going to pay for this product? How is it going to grow? How will you be able to deliver on these? And so on. And so what Tamika was able to do is, not having any pitch experience before, 2 days later, she entered a competition, virtual competition in Chicago. She came in second place in that competition, and she won $7,000. Not too shabby. 12 days later, she entered another competition. The competition is the 1MBB program, and that program here offers a $10,000 grand prize to the winner. 3 people got to compete. Tamika was chosen to be able to compete amongst the 3. The $10,000 grand prize was not awarded to Tamika, even though she did a heck of a pitch. The second prize, which was a free website from Spotify or Shopify, was a great second prize. But unfortunately, Tamika did not win that prize either. Third prize was nothing. It was simply just recognition of being in the top 3. And unfortunately, Tamika did not win any of those prizes. So why am I telling you the story? Well, because there's a bit of a surprise to it. It's part of the money pie. The money pie. The money pie. What is the money pie? The money pie is our old dear beloved member, Ray Scioto, used to say one thing: if money is not the answer, please repeat the question. Tamika focused on the money. Tamika focused on her ask. What happened with the third place finish? After giving the big giant check of $10,000 to the winner, and after giving a big certificate to the second place winner, the founder of the organization said to Tamika that her pitch touched his heart. Her pitch is something that he could relate to, something that's a deep, deep need that he can see for lots of people, including his own mother. He said in front of a live audience of about 1,000 people, he said to Tamika, I'm going to do something I haven't done before, and I have to apologize in advance to my CFO because I didn't let him know ahead of time. but I'm going to give you $50,000 from our organization to help fund your project. And then one of the judges, and he said, and I challenge anybody in this room to match me. So a judge, one of the 5 judges, also said, I will give you $20,000 to help you with your startup. And within a few moments, somebody from the audience, and by the way, Andrew Young, Ambassador Andrew Young was a member of that audience, for those who know Andrew Young. Big deal. Somebody from the audience said, I will give you $20,000. So Tamika entered a competition where the grand prize was $10,000 and she lost and still left with $90,000 and a commitment from the organization to help her raise the entire $250,000 that she asked for. I just gave you a clue of what happened. She made a pitch. She explained the financial benefits of her product from an investor's mindset with her presentation, and asked for $250,000 of funding. Nobody else who entered that competition asked for any money because they knew that the prize was $10,000. So they figured that's what they're competing for. Ask for the money is your other clue. If you were in a pitch competition, regardless of what the prize is, let people know how much you were trying to raise. If she hadn't done those 2 things, speak from the investor mindset and make the ask her call to action. The other 2 people did not make a call to action. They entered the competition, they made their pitch, and then they left. There was no call to action. Tamika made the point from the perspective of the investor mindset and had a call to action. She wanted to help raise $250,000. She got exactly what she asked for and more because she got deals from the group to actually buy her products on top of that. She gave me an amazing interview a few weeks back, sharing that how much of what she learned during the course of our training program together, our coaching program together, affected what she was doing. She was speaking from an inventor's mindset rather than an investor's mindset. Vital. Why am I telling you this? Because if it happens to Tamika and she wins 2 competitions with more than 6 figures of support and $90,000 in real money, 97 if you count the 2 pitches. It means to me one thing. After listening to 600 hours of pitching and watching Tamika and going through these pitches and looking at all the various pitches, I've probably looked hundreds and hundreds of pitch competitions. These pitch competitions are offering opportunity for anybody with a moderate level of training to perform very, very well. Most professional people who are adults do not have the skill set to pitch effectively for investment. So if you're going to these pitch competitions here, those are even a lower bar still. So even if you have a social impact project, and by the way, I help people with social impact projects to show how those social impact projects mean money, turn into money. Because if you have a social impact project that makes money, it works. Here's the order. I have a very great money-making idea that just happens to offer incredible social impact. That's how you present it, by the way. Then you get people's attention. I have a $1 billion opportunity in the fintech sector that also helps bring 11 million Black women out of poverty. Who's interested? That is how you make a pitch for a social impact project. There are literally nearly 10 to 11,000 pitch competitions around the world. How do you find these pitch competitions? You can't go to Google. If you go to Google, here you'll be spending months and months and months trying to find them all. The best you can probably do is probably a few hundred, maybe during the course of a day. It's very complicated. And then how do you apply? How do you compare them? How do you know the ones that are right for you? It's a troubling, difficult challenge. That's why Pitchfreaks is focusing in 2022 to be a resource to provide free access through my free newsletter each week. I'm going to provide insights about different pitch competitions around the United States and around the world. So if you're interested in pitch competitions or you know somebody who's interested in pitch competitions, you can simply go to pitchfreaks.com/fundraising and sign up for my free newsletter. In that newsletter, I'm going to give you tips, insights, ideas, interviews on people involved with pitch competitions around the world. You might be surprised to know that Serena Williams probably had the #1 story in pitch competitions in the United States last year. Why is that? She donated $1 million to a pitch competition winner from an HBCU, a historically Black college or university. The gentleman's company was TrackFlow. TrackFlow. Serena Williams donated $1 million to the winner of this pitch competition. I told you at the beginning, the organization that claims to have the #1 pitch competition in planet Earth is Rice University. What's their prize? $1 million. What does this mean to you? Two things. One is more celebrities are going to be sponsoring pitch competitions this year, for sure, on the heels of Serena Williams. By the way, the average story interest engagement on Google, YouTube, and the news here is around 700 to 1,000 mentions for the average pitch competition. When Serena Williams donated the $1 million check to this pitch competition, she had 34,000 impressions in the news feed based upon her pitch competition. Other people are taking notice. Michael B. Jordan, who's another famous actor here, was a part of that as well. You're going to see more celebrities and more high net worth folks engage in supporting pitch competitions rather than doing their own direct pitching, taking meetings. Why? Because you have organizations set up to vet these people, to support these people, to nurture these people as well. Pitch competitions are going to be more popular in 2022. The second reason why is because Zoom. We have an expanded situation with our health and safety. These meetings, these pitch competitions have been notoriously focused on very focused local folks. As a result of that, you're either in a university or you're in an industry group or so on, and the people who pitch are simply part of that group, and they have to show up in person at the pitch. Well, now with Zoom, you can pitch remotely. And it's encouraged in many cases to pitch remotely. So now what's happening is the opportunity for all of these organizations that are involved with pitch competitions here have the entire world available to them to apply for pitches. And so that means as a founder, as a business owner, or as somebody who has a great idea, you can now have the world available to you to access money. I've seen and helped people raise hundreds of millions of dollars through traditional channels. I think that the easiest possible way for people to raise money in 2022 is through a pitch competition. You can be engaged in a pitch competition for an elevator pitch. You don't even have to have financials together. You don't even have to have a team together. You can make an elevator pitch and there's many pitch organizations that do pitch competitions that give you $3,500 prize just for having a great elevator pitch. You don't have to have a previous success. You don't have to have product market fit. All you have to do is have a great elevator pitch, $3,500. There's a bunch of them, by the way. Those are going to be in my list. The people who are winning these pitch competitions here have great insights to share. I'll be interviewing them during the course of the year. If you know anything about Barstool Sports or kind of websites or things like that, imagine Barstool Sports, but for pitch competitions. That's what I'm focusing on. So if you know somebody who's engaged in a pitch competition this year, I want to know who they are because I want to share their information with other people. So if you yourself are holding a pitch competition, let me know the details of it so I can put it in the newsletter and share it with other folks. Obviously, at the same time, I'm putting together a database of all these pitch competitions in detail that I can share with folks here, that I'll have a membership community available to share this deeper level of insight with folks. But the newsletter is a free resource for you. Sign up at pitchfreaks.com/fundraising, and you can get on that list for free. I think that if you have the minimum amount of training from people like Patricia Fripp, from people like Gary McKenzie, from our professionals here like Carl and Doug and the people who are professional speakers, you have an incredible advantage in these publicly available pitch competitions. And so I encourage you to sign up for the newsletter, pitchfreaks.com/fundraising. Get on my email list, my free newsletter list here. And if you're looking for, by the way, the federal government has hundreds of millions of dollars in funding for pitch competitions. Federal pitch competitions, the state of California, counties of San Francisco, Chamber of Commerce, they are all conduct pitch competitions. Think about this for a second. Nobody thinks that an RFP is a pitch competition. Pete, wouldn't an RFP be considered an actual pitch competition? Request for proposals is a pitch competition. Millions and millions of dollars available through RFPs with the state, city, and federal government. That is a pitch competition. You should be thinking about that. I want to help share insights so you can apply and you can understand the insights behind how winners win, and so how you can apply that as well. I want you to be able to get a slice of this $70 billion pie. Go to pitchfreaks.com/fundraising and sign up for my email newsletter. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to present to you today, and thank you so much for your kind attention. Pitchfreak out.
All right, thank you.